Hey guys, welcome back. So here we have 8 things that will help you progress in EVE Frontier Alpha. This is mostly for after you've established your base and now looking to build bigger and better things. Alright, so the first one is fairly commonly asked, where do we find Technocores? Being an alpha game, there's not a lot of published information just yet, so it can be a bit confusing on figuring out where to find certain things. Here's a list for the places that can drop you Technocores to build your shipyard with. This might not be a complete list as things do change quite frequently in alpha, but hopefully it's a great place for you to start. Now do be careful when you explore these. Just about all of them would have some kind of NPCs and you will need to fend them off while searching for your loot. So this is a shipyard I explored earlier, a bunch of drones around, defending a mega structure with a few loot boxes. I didn't really have the firepower to kill them all, so I kind of just went in, copped the hits, took the loot and warped out. Number 2, build near a gated system. So this is kind of a personal preference thing, but I have found that once you get new ships like Reaver or a frigate, it's a lot easier to find NPCs or search for rifts, simply because Reaver can't really jump that far and frigates take up so much fuel, so you want to minimize the use if you can. So how close should you be? If you're not building in a gated system itself, you should try to aim and find one within 30 light years. That's a comfortable range for Reaver to jump regardless of the temperature. However, it does mean that there will be more players in these systems due to convenience, so there will be a bit more competition on resources and NPCs. Number 3, buying and selling items to make Lux. So Lux is the main in-game currency and you will need to make some in order to progress, because there are certain items such as the lens to mine crude matter with that you can only get from NPCs at this point. As of now, the only item you can sell to NPCs is this feral data. You can get feral data from killing drones and enemy ships. In order to sell it, first you need to find a station, and once you dock in the station, you'll notice a window will pop up with your ship inventory, with a ship hanger and an item hanger. To sell an item, you need to drag the item from your ship inventory into the item hanger. Once it's in there, you can right click it in the item hanger and then select the option sell this item. And if you're selling to NPCs, make sure you go to the time frame box and select immediate, and this will sell your item to the highest offer in the market at this station. So notice my Lux has gone up. Now I need to farm more feral data because this lens item is 100k Lux. Feral data is worth about 6k each, so you need to have about 18 of them to be able to afford the lens. Once you do have the lens, we can progress to number 4, getting salt. Salt is used as a component to make bigger ships, so it is on the critical path of your progression and you can't really get around it. In order to obtain salt, you need to first have the lens bought from the station. You need to make a crude extractor which can help you mine it, and then you need to find a rift that is not number 20. Once all these conditions are met, you can sit here like what I'm doing and extract crude matter from the fissure in the rift. And then you can take the crude matter back to base and refine it to get salt. Rift 20 is bugged, I want to say, but maybe I just haven't figured out how to do it. There is no fissure in the rift, so it might be triggered by a quest or something like that. Number 5, dangers of using the autopilot. Using the autopilot is actually very easy. All you have to do is be in a gated system, right click on your destination, which is a system that's also connected by gate, set destination, and then you can toggle that little button up the top and your ship will get there by itself. The only thing to really watch out for here is traveling by autopilot is a bit slower, in the sense that it takes a while to approach the stargates. Now here's the problem. With more and more people joining, and some of them are very trigger happy, so if they see you sitting idle or just cruising along, they might open fire. It has already happened to me a few times. I set autopilot, look away for a second, and then there's somebody blasting me at the Stargate. I'm fully aware that this is a PvP game, but come on guys, it's early days. I'm just trying to explore here. Number 6, power juggling. What does that mean? So each ship has a max energy or capacitor, and the energy consumption from your modules cannot exceed it. What you can do is turn some modules offline while you use others. For example, in this setup, I can't use the laser and my gun turret at the same time. So if I'm off exploring, I can keep my laser disabled while I'm farming NPCs, and when I need to make some carbon for fuel, I can disable the turret and then use my laser. Another version of this is to carry a different module in your inventory, as well as 50 metal ores. When you need to switch, you can just find a spot, build a refuge, and refit your ship. Number 7, control your warp in distance. I think this is good practice and everyone should do it. So when you're warping into a location, normally I just warp into 0 distance right on top of it. But it's actually very dangerous if you don't know what's inside there and if it's an unfamiliar location. So what you can do is to right click, and instead of choosing warp into 0, you pick a further out distance. So then when you are in the sector, you are away from any potential NPCs. In this case, we see 4 cruisers sitting in the same spot, and if I had warped in directly to the center of that, would probably get obliterated straight away. Fortunately, I can just get out before they notice I'm there. And number 8, capacitor management. This is kind of like energy or mana management. See how I have 1 laser and 1 gun turret equipped? While I had shield, I would enable both of them to attack, but as soon as the shields are gone and I need to start using the whole repairer to repair damage, I disable the laser to save some energy, and I only enable the repair when I have been damaged, and I don't leave it running. This helps me to save energy so that I can stay in the fight much longer. What I did here is toggle the repair on and then immediately toggle it off. That is until I ran into these guys. Now I don't know what an auxiliary frigate is, but they were shooting some fancy projectiles at me and it was my cue for bailing. Fortunately, due to our excellent energy management, we were able to warp out of the system just in time. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave a comment.